I looked at those things like, you ain't gonna stop me from training. Anytime something popped up, I was just like, I looked at it as if it was like the enemy.
Welcome to the Spartan Deka series on Spartan Up with Jarod Cogswell, Director of Sport, and Yancy Culp, Director of Programming.
Hey, what's up, Spartans? It's YCJC on the Deka series on the Spartan Up podcast, and we have a special episode today. Okay, we are at the home of Spartan, Pittsfield, Vermont. Beautiful Vermont for the Spartan Games, the Battle of the Fittest. And today, we got a special guest.
Very special guest. Listen, tune in because we're going to pull you to the edge of your seat with this one.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by TrueForm Runner. Conquer your next race with a complete training solution from Spartan and TrueForm. The Spartan TrueForm trainer will redefine your running, improve your form, and reduce injury. Save 10% with the code SPARTAN10 at TrueFormRunner.com/Spartan. That's TrueFormRunner.com/Spartan.
What I do want to talk about, Ryan, is, you know, the road that we've been on in the last 6 months. You know, last 6 to 8 months now. We're getting ready for Deka. You know, you're about to blast through the course.
What month was this again?
This was back in March. Yeah. March of 2020. And man, I remember just, you know, talking to you shortly after, and all of a sudden you're driving a truck, you're working OT, you're trying to fit in training. We don't know if this lockdown's going to happen for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How long is this going to be? And, you know, you've been on a journey. I'd love for you to share the journey that you've been on the last 6 to 8 months, because you know what, man? As soon as I saw you, I mean, I immediately just wanted to hug the heck out of you, because I know you've been going through, you've been navigating through this, but you've been accomplishing some great things as a human being.
And before you start, I want to set this up a little bit more. When I met you in 2015, you were footloose and fancy free, maybe 14. You were training and racing, maybe having a few beers and some more training and racing. That was the Ryan Kent I knew, ocean lifeguard, college level runner. So give us a deeper dive in 2020, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, it's, as far as COVID goes, first I guess I just want to say that I don't think if it wasn't for COVID happening, that all these other areas of my life would have kind of blossomed into what they are right now. And just to give you a quick rundown, you know, in the last 6 months I married my girlfriend. We've been together for 3 years. We decided to tie the knot. We also found out that we're having a baby early February. And like I said, those things weren't really planned, they were planned, but COVID really gave us the opportunity to kind of, you know, since there wasn't racing as much, we were able to kind of look at our own personal life and see areas we could grow in that regards. But I had to make some choices, because as a full-time athlete since early 2015, racing, prize money, sponsorships, that's how I've always made my living. And, you know, with all due respect to Spartan, they had to make a decision in a tough time to, you know, dial some things back as far as like financially. And, you know, I was one of those people that had to basically take a pay cut, you know, as did many other people. And in those types of situations, what are you going to do? You know, are you just going to sit on the couch and eat Doritos and just, you know, give up? Or like, what are you going to do? And for me, I take a lot of responsibility in being, you know, a great husband to my wife. Like I said, we have a kid coming up, and I just wasn't going to sit back and just wait for this COVID thing to just ride out. I wanted to take initiative in my own life and just be like, look, what can I do to just like take control of this situation? So I applied for a job to get to work as a UPS driver. And for one, I thought that this would be perfect for a guy like me, because I was still going to keep training, but this was going to give me an opportunity to be outside. I love to be outdoors. I get to exercise all day. I get to carry boxes. So in a way, it's kind of like I mean, if you look at it from a training perspective, it's easy zone 1 training all day long. So I was like, man, this is the perfect opportunity. So I applied for the job, and because of COVID, they called me back immediately. And normally with UPS, it's actually a hard gig to get. But COVID opened the door for somebody like myself to come in, and I went straight from 0 to 100 right away. I went from, training full-time to training full-time and working 55 hours a week. And that was a crazy adjustment to make. One that actually took the first couple of weeks. I can't tell you how many nights I told Sarah, I was like, I don't know if I can sustain this. It was that drastic of a change, but I kept going day after day. And then eventually it just becomes part of your routine, like it's such a drastic change at first that it's hard to adapt. But once you do, honestly, like you don't even think about it anymore. So normally you slept until 8:30, went for your first workout of the day at 11. Now you got to set the alarm a little bit earlier. But after a couple weeks, you adjust to that, and that becomes your new normal. And that's kind of what I did. It was hard, but I did what I had to do, and I didn't stop doing what I love to do, and that's to train and compete. There was no way I was going to give that up. So, you know what? I did what I had to do, and that's kind of just the reality of the situation.
From a coaching perspective, having the opportunity to work with you in various ways when you were footloose and fancy free, that's what I'm going to call it. And I will tell you that I have been thoroughly impressed with how you have probably been more focused and more dialed with your training during this period that you talk about with the big moves, marriage, kid on the way, new jobs, all these curveballs that were thrown at you. And what we see across the board in so many sports is the bookends of fitness levels are widening. Some people are deciding to take advantage of this, and some are letting themselves go. And dude, you are really leaning towards this side of the equation. I think if you stepped on a Spartan course right now, I think you do a ton of damage. And a matter of fact, I know that would be if we were right back into normal Spartan racing and Deka Fit was rolling, dude, I know and you've been showing it so far in this Spartan games. You'd be dangerous, my friend.
And I think about it, and it's like, every time something popped up, like an obstacle in life, okay, you got to get up early. Oh, now you got to work a job. I looked at those things like, you ain't gonna stop me from training. Anytime something popped up, I was just like, I looked at it as if it was like the enemy, the opponent, and it was just like, bring it on, because you're not gonna stop me from trying to achieve the goals that I've set out for myself. So I got to set the alarm at 4:30. Okay, that's what I got to do. So I got to go work all day, then come home and do another workout. Okay, let's go. And that's kind of how I looked at it. I looked at it as like the universe, life was the opponent, and I wasn't willing to lose.
Talk to the audience about, do you feel, and I can't answer this for you, but do you feel that you are a better chin up competitor right now than you were prior to all of this? I know chin down, you're a freaking cyborg, but from the chin up, the mental conditioning side of racing and competing, where do you feel you're at right now compared to the old footloose and fancy free Ryan Kent?
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes with age too. I've grown up a little bit since those early years, but what's funny is when you're training and racing, doing that whole thing, you think that you're mentally challenging yourself because every day you're training hard, but you're not getting those everyday life kind of challenges that can, take your mental game to the next level. And that's sort of what I've been getting for the last 6 to 7 months is these other mental challenges that aren't involved with training, but can carry over into your training. So, things like getting the full-time job and getting married. And then obviously, I got my dad too, who's home, and he's not doing so well. So just dealing with all those life obstacles, I mean, how could it not strengthen your mental game and, have it carry over into your athletic life as well?
We're going to have you go ahead, JC, but we're going to have a unique finish here because this boy's got to get to his next competition.
That's right.
I'm getting waved at in the background.
I'd love for you to just share maybe 2 or 3 lessons for the audience of, because everybody, I've been in the fitness business for 30 years, Yancy for 25. I mean, there's a lot of years we don't care to admit to, but there's always this excuse because of time.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those people?
And I was probably one of those people.
Yeah, but you're not.
Right.
So what would you say to those people that say, I just don't have time to work out and take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally?
I used to say that about working. When training and racing was my job, it was like, I don't have time to get a regular job. Mm-hmm. And then you get one and you're like, man, maybe I've been a little bit lazy. And it goes the other way around. It's like, look, you need to plan out every single day. That's what I do. Like, I have a notebook, and I know that, from, 4:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night, like, I have a schedule of what I have to do that day, and it keeps me accountable. It keeps me organized, which is absolutely critical. And then you just take it day by day. I try not to think a week down the line, 2 weeks down the line. Take it day by day. And, like, whatever you have going on, I think you can always work around it, whether that's, setting the alarm 60 minutes earlier or, coming home and, waiting 45 minutes to take that shower or sit on the couch and watch your basketball game or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, there's always that time. You just have to make just subtle adjustments. Prioritize.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the deal. We're about to get the shepherd's hook. I see
boy.
it come from over there. Boy. Again, we're at the Spartan Games. I can't tell you exactly what's coming next, but you got to go get your bike.
Good.
Hey,
you got to go get your bike.
One last thing I want to say, because we talked about this the other day. Brad Pitt, the famous actor, he's got all these different looks. And then I hadn't seen Ryan since he cut the hair.
Cut the locks.
And then all of a sudden, man, look at this. Yep. I love the new look.
You like that
stash? I love it, dude.
You pull a lot of different looks off well. We're about to get the shepherd's hook. We got to go.
All right. Hey,
love you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Much love, brother.
Appreciate it.
Too, brother.
Thank you.
Let's rock and roll.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by TrueForm Runner. Conquer your next race with a complete training solution from Spartan and TrueForm. The Spartan TrueForm trainer will redefine your running, improve your form, and reduce injury. Save 10% with the code SPARTAN10 at TrueFormRunner.com/Spartan. That's TrueFormRunner.com/Spartan.